Brisbane's Olympic mega boom is here. After much anticipation, uncertainty, and a staggering 4 years of indecisiveness, we finally have our venues for the Brisbane 2032 Olympic Games. In a packed event at Howard Smith Wharves in Brisbane, Premier David Crisafulli announced his government's decisions on the future of the Games venues, and there were some big calls that were made. From the reveal of the main stadium to a surprise aquatic centre, all the way through to transport infrastructure and tourism opportunities, the city's mega boom is about to begin. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's jump in. I'm Mel Pikos, and today we're talking tactics. It's been a long road, but we finally have a plan in place for the Brisbane 2032 Olympic Games. I won't continue to harp on about how we got to this place, but if you are interested, here's a link to all my previous videos on the Brisbane Games preparations. But for now, we look to the future. The Crisafulli government has released its 2032 delivery plan in a highly anticipated future Brisbane event hosted by the Courier Mail. The plan was formulated off the back of the 100-day review, which was a key election promise in the 2024 state election. The review was completed by GICA, the Games Independent Infrastructure and Coordination Authority, which reviewed 5,862 submissions and conducted over 150 stakeholder meetings to assist in the making of its recommendations for the Games. The government has been very clear that there won't be any extra money dished out for the Games, with a fixed funding envelope of $7.1 billion, consisting of similar contributions from both the Australian and Queensland governments. It appears that the years of indecisions by the previous government meant that GICA's tasks of ensuring value for money in delivering generational infrastructure for both the Games and for all of Queensland was extremely difficult. In the final report, Chairman Stephen Conry said that the limited time remaining for delivery and the increasingly prevalent construction cost escalations have effectively eroded the real value of the original Games budget. The government ultimately decided to either accept or partially accept 76 out of the 86 recommendations in GICA's report. Let's take a look what Brisbane and Queensland is getting. A new Brisbane stadium at Victoria Park. Let's start with the headliner. In a move that was highly expected for some weeks now, and something I predicted in my previous Olympics video, Premier Crisafulli announced that there will be a brand new 63,000 seat Brisbane stadium in Victoria Park. This new Victoria Park Stadium will not only host the opening and closing ceremonies and the athletics for the Brisbane 2032 Games, but it will also be the future home of the Brisbane Lions, the Brisbane Heat, and the Queensland Bulls for years to come. And no doubt a return to the coveted Ashes series in Brisbane. The current design of the main stadium, which seeks to preserve 68% of the total area for green space, will offer a magnificent centre stage to showcase Brisbane to the world, with a site near Gilchrist Avenue earmarked as a suitable position for the stadium. If you're a long-term viewer, you might know that my personal preference was to build a stadium above the Cross River Rail site at Wollongabba, but I'm more than happy to throw my support behind Victoria Park. I'm just glad we ended up with a new stadium and not Cusack. Benefits of the Victoria Park location are immense. It has proximity to various public transport infrastructure, such as the new Cross River Rail exhibition station and the Brisbane Metro, as well as the Fortitude Valley Railway Station and the existing busway network. There will be enhanced connectivity between Victoria Park and the wider city context, plus the opportunity to provide significant legacy sport and entertainment investment that will benefit the surrounding areas, including Fortitude Valley, Bowen Hills, and Kelvin Grove. The only thing I don't completely love is the name. Victoria Park in Queensland? I think it might confuse a lot of people, particularly internationals, that Victoria Park is in the state of Victoria. There's been some debate on this, and personally, I'd love the name to change to Queen's Park. A nod to our much-loved former Queen, keeps a connection to Queen Victoria as originally intended, whilst also encapsulating the Queensland spirit. Queen's Park. Do you think it should be named something else? Or naming rights sold to the highest bidder? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. During his announcement, the Premier highlighted the 100-day review's findings that the Gabba revamp, which was his own personal preference, was simply not an option anymore with the time frame that was inherited. So despite this decision meaning that he is breaking his own election promise of no new stadiums for this Olympic Games, he is wearing that and taking accountability.
In the end, the choice was clear. The Games must be held at a new stadium at Victoria Park. I have to own that, and I will, and I am sorry. And it's my decision, and I accept that decision.
Personally, I really love this approach. I think it is akin to the Peter Beattie days, where you just own up to things and say, yep, we're going to make the right decision, and I think a lot of Queenslanders love this approach too. The Premier said that the choice was clear and that the Games must be held in a new stadium at Victoria Park so that we could deliver a Games with an eye to the future. What does this mean for the Gabba? Well, it will be demolished after the Games. It has the potential to be used for cricket during the Olympics, but following it, it would be removed and redeveloped potentially into housing.
Wouldn't it be amazing to see the Australian cricket team win gold at an Olympic final, the Gabba's swan song?
But the Gabba may see some other Olympic activity in the form of the Brisbane Arena, but more on that a little bit later. As for the Victoria Park main stadium, I think this is a fantastic outcome for Brisbane and was the right call in my opinion. We will be getting a 63,000 seat stadium in a prime position that will show off our great city during the Games and will then become generational infrastructure, luring large-scale sporting and entertainment events to our city for years to come. The RNA upgrades. Another decision that I correctly predicted was that the previous planned Athletes Village in Hamilton has been canned, making way for a more centrally located village in Bowen Hills near the Brisbane Showgrounds. The Brisbane Athletes Village will accommodate more than 10,000 athletes and team officials for the Olympics and more than 5,000 for the Paralympics, which will then be converted to permanent housing after the Games. The nearby RNA Brisbane Showgrounds will also be revamped in the process to allow its main arena to hold 20,000 people. You may remember that this was previously floated as a temporary home for the Lions and the Heat during the Gabba redevelopment option, and it will now officially get its own upgrade. This is great news for the Ekka, which will see massive improvements to the site. And according to RNA CEO Brendan Christou, not a single year of the Ekka will be lost despite the construction. No Olympic events have yet been announced for this site, but this investment will no doubt have a great entertainment legacy for the various music festivals that are held on the site, like Laneway Festival and Listen Out, as well as the annual Ekka. It's envisaged to also potentially host AFLW matches or dressage events, and even the Brisbane Roar is interested in playing matches at the upgraded stadium. Other new athletes' villages set to be constructed for the Games include the Sunshine Coast Athletes Village in Maroochydore and the Gold Coast Athlete Village to be located within the Royal Pines Resorts development. The Brisbane Arena. Another major call made by the Crisafulli government has been its decision to no longer publicly fund the Brisbane Live Arena as part of the Olympic Games. Despite the 100-day review recommending to push ahead with the arena, Deputy Premier Jared Blay said that the government did not accept that it was essential infrastructure for the Games. The fate of this venue will now be left to the private sector, with the Premier saying that he's confident that Brisbane can have a world-class indoor entertainment venue delivered through a market-led process. Originally planned to be built at Roma Street, the 100-day review recommended that the proposed site now be moved to Wollongabba at the former GoPrint site, which is effectively on top of or right next to the new Cross River rail station, and include legacy seating for 17,000 patrons. If the private sector steps in to get Brisbane Live off the ground, it could be a significant anchoring venue to revitalise Wollongabba, especially now that the Gabba will be demolished to make way for prime inner-city mixed-use developments. Like the Crypto.com Arena, previously known as the Staples Centre in LA, and Madison Square Garden, they've created popular entertainment hubs within their vicinity. The Brisbane Live Arena has the potential to uplift Wollongabba area as well, attracting the establishment of further businesses, restaurants, entertainment venues to this part of Brisbane. I think this is sorely needed for the Gabba area. We've got world-class infrastructure being delivered with the Cross River Rail station at Wollongabba. It would be a shame to waste this by having nothing there. People need a reason to go there, and Brisbane Live would be that reason. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you hear the latest on this project. The Brisbane Aquatic Centre. I was correct with 3 of my 4 Olympic venue predictions, but here's where my luck finally ran out. There won't be a drop-in pool at Suncorp Stadium as I guessed, but we're getting a far better option in my opinion. A brand new National Aquatic Centre will be built in Spring Hill, with the government deciding to upgrade the existing centenary pool originally constructed in 1959. This decision was one of the few that went against the 100-day review. The review did recommend a new aquatic centre, but suggested redeveloping the Sleeman Sports Centre, also known as Chandler. But the government ultimately went with the centenary pool option, the option that was heavily preferred by and advocated for by Swimming Australia. Prior to the final decision, the peak governing body for swimming argued that proposed drop-in pools in either the Brisbane Arena or Suncorp Stadium would leave zero aquatics legacy post-games. And leaving zero legacy infrastructure for Australia's most successful Olympic and Paralympic sport would be criminal, in my opinion. So I think this is an absolutely fantastic outcome. The venue will be designed to be a new national hub for Australia's peak aquatic sports, being swimming, water polo, diving, and artistic swimming. It will feature 3 new pools, a new indoor dive tower, and temporary seating planned for 25,000 people, with legacy seating capacity to be at 8,800, with a cost of about $650 million. This new venue has been dubbed the most significant investment ever in aquatic sports in Australia. And being located at Spring Hill, just a short walk from the Victoria Park main stadium and the RNA Athletes Village, we will have quite the Olympic Village right in the middle of the CBD. Other venues and regional Queensland. Alongside these major venue announcements, a number of new and upgraded venues have been announced all across Queensland. These include a venue upgrade of the Queensland Tennis Centre in Tennyson. The tennis was in danger of being pinched by Melbourne, and thank goodness we're holding on to that. A new Gold Coast Arena to be fully funded and delivered by the City of Gold Coast. An upgraded Sunshine Coast Stadium going from 1,046 seats to 10,680 seats. An upgraded Gold Coast Hockey Centre, fully funded and delivered by the City of Gold Coast. An upgraded Brisbane International Shooting Centre. 2 new indoor sports centres, one in Logan and one in Moreton Bay. An upgraded Sunshine Coast Mountain Bike Centre. An upgraded Velodrome and BMX Centre at Chandler. A new Whitewater Centre in Redlands. An upgraded Barlow Park in Cairns. An upgraded Parasport facility at Chandler. An upgraded rowing facility in Rockhampton. And an upgraded Toowoomba Showgrounds to host equestrian events. Other regional towns were announced to be hosting events such as archery in Maryborough, football and sailing in Townsville, cricket in Mackay. So the Brisbane Olympics is really starting to feel a bit more like the Queensland Olympics. Personally, I think this is a clever move by the Crucifulli administration. There was quite a bit of city versus country debate in Queensland over recent years, with crazy calls to split the state in two, unease at money being spent in southeast Queensland and the like. I think Crucifulli has done a great job of uniting the state behind the Olympics to ensure that all Queenslanders can benefit. And that's a gold medal win in my books. Transport infrastructure. Big money will also be spent on transport infrastructure all around the state. With sporting events being shared around the regions, all of these areas will see much needed upgrades. That might not have been possible without the catalysing influence of the upcoming games. I won't go into too much detail on all the upgrades and improvements. That could be its own video, but here's a quick roundup. $9 billion on upgrades to the Bruce Highway from Brisbane to Cairns, aiming to improve safety, capacity and flood resilience. Rail infrastructure to and from the Gold Coast will receive an upgrade with the Logan to Gold Coast Faster Rail project, which will see the doubling of tracks between Currabee and Beenleigh. The Sunshine Coast is also set to receive further public transport investment with a new connection called The Wave, a new heavy rail connection from Beerwah to Britannia, and then a Brisbane Metro-like bus rapid transit connection through Maroochydore and continuing to the Sunshine Coast Airport. Prioritising bus movements on Old Cleveland Road and Gympie Road in Brisbane to increase reliability and reducing travel times. Bus priority to improve east-west connections on the Gold Coast between Nerang and Broadbeach and Rabina and Miami. And the implementation of European Train Control System Level 2 to improve safety and allow increased service frequencies of the rail network from the Gold Coast through Brisbane and up to Redcliffe and the Sunshine Coast. After more than 1,340 days after Queensland won the bid for the Games, we now finally have certainty as what Brisbane 2032 will look like. However, this is by no means an easy task for the government, with rising construction costs and the lack of skilled workers being some of the biggest barriers in successfully delivering these games. Premier David Crucifulli has consistently said that Brisbane will not be embarrassed on the world stage when the Olympics rolls around. And with the plan finalised and actually announced to the public, Queenslanders can finally start to believe that. We have the potential to put Brisbane on the map and set ourselves up with the legacy infrastructure and tourism opportunities for decades to come. We have the plan. Now it's time to get started. But what do you think? Are you happy with the announced delivery plan? What do you think about the Victoria Park main stadium? Should we change the name? And were there any surprises for you in the report? Anything you think is missing and is still needed for the Games? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. There will be plenty of Olympic updates over the next few years, and I'll be here to talk about it. Thanks to our newest contributor, Sean Tran, who's helping us with our infrastructure-related content. Sean's done a great job in helping put this video together, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Mel Pikos, and we've been talking tactics.